Today, I'm actually answering a question from one of you guys, one of our followers of the podcast, Megan. She owns Bear Beauty Lounge and she attended my meetup in New York, reached out to me and was asking about hiring. She is ready to hire within the next 6 months and had some additional questions for me. So I'm going to be answering them right here for all of you to hear. Keep on listening. Welcome to The Rebel Show, the podcast for estheticians who want to grow their business, master social media, and perfect their waxing technique. I'm Brie Mesquit, esthetician, business coach, and founder of Rebel Wax and first-to-market wax pads. I built a 6-figure clientele, a 7-figure brand, and have trained over 15,000 waxers through my in-person and online courses. Are you struggling to book clients or market yourself? You're in the right place. Each week, I bring real business strategies, waxing education, and no BS advice to help you grow. Let's get into it. This was her message. Her name's Megan. She reached out and she said, I'll likely be hiring my first employee within the next 6 months. And I'd love to hear more about the transition on the podcast. If you're open to it, I'm open. I'm here. I'm especially curious about how you structure pay, landed on those numbers, how you found your first employees, what made people want to work for you, and how you keep the business profitable while paying your employees. I feel like so many solo estheticians are in this stage, and it's so hard to find transparent advice. You found it, especially on the financial side. Thanks for always sharing. You've helped my business more than you'll ever know. Okay, that is so freaking cool. I love getting messages like this or hearing testimonies from you guys when we're at trade shows. Because honestly, oftentimes I feel like I'm just kind of in here talking to myself. You know, I'm looking at this camera and it's like, is this landing? Is this helpful? So when you guys reach out to me like this, it's really, really impactful for me. So I really appreciate it. All right. So first question we need to ask is, should I even hire? Am I at a stage? Am I at a point that it is a smart time to hire? So should everyone go down the route of hiring? No, not everyone should, but some, yes. Okay. We need to get really clear on that. So what is it that you're hiring for? Are you looking for more freedom? Do you want a lifestyle business? Meaning, do you want a business that just provides for the lifestyle that you're wanting to live? Are you wanting to grow? Are you trying to build a huge empire? It's actually very surprising to me. I thought the bigger the business, the better the lifestyle, which is true at a certain point, but you hit this middle ground of where you actually grow to a certain point where it actually diminishes it a little bit because you have so much overhead and expenses. So when you're solo, you can actually pretty easily create a decent lifestyle business on your own, especially with waxing because it's such a high profitable business. So that's something that I learned. I thought the more we grow, the more revenue we're doing, like the better, but it's not always the case with that. Okay, that's a whole different topic. But ask yourself what it is that you're trying to hire to build and what you really need in this stage, because we may not want to first hire a commission waxer. Maybe your first hire needs to be admin, or I would guess most likely really admin, some customer service help, assistant type to really help free up some of your time. That may need to be your actual first hire before bringing in a waxer, because when you bring in a new waxer, there's so much that you need to do to make sure that your books are staying full, their books are staying full. Now you're running payroll, you're becoming a boss, a leader, you're having to have those corrective conversations and hard conversations with them. Sometimes they don't show up to work. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, it can get wild. So your first hire might actually need to be admin or some sort of assistant to help you. Let's start talking. That's just a little food for thought, okay? You can have virtual assistants and people who you can offload a lot of your daily tasks or even weekly tasks and at a part-time rate too. You don't have to have someone that's on full-time, and you can have a VA. Okay, now let's get back though to the question I think she was really asking, which was more pertaining toward hiring a commission-based waxer. So going forward, everything's going to be answering the question based on hiring a waxer, not an assistant. All right, so how do you know you're ready? So you're consistently booked. At minimum, a 70% booking utilization. I prefer even 80% or higher, and consistently, not just during peak busy times, okay? So this needs to be at least 3 months, preferably outside of summertime, because summertime is pretty easy to get to get pretty busy, but 3 months consistently of having 80% or higher booking utilization. Like if you're at the point where you're turning clients away, or you have a hard time if you have to reschedule a days of clients because you got sick or something happened, and or people are canceling and you're having a really hard time finding a new spot for them, that's a sign that you're ready to hire. But then besides that, knowing your numbers. You absolutely have to know your numbers. You need to know what your revenue is, what your profits are, how much is going towards supplies versus your booking systems or your utility and your lease. Like your finances need to be in check. You need to have your QuickBooks set up, and you need to be tracking your numbers. All right? You need to be financially stable in that. And your systems need to be documented. So you're saying you feel like you're ready to hire within the next 6 months. Take this 6 months to build out these systems, not just building them out. They're probably already built out because they're literally the things that you do on a day in and day out basis, but you got to document them. How is someone going to come in and follow your exact setup process or client check-in or client rebook or closeout process or system if it's not documented? You got to start documenting all of that. If you're unsure what I'm talking about when it's systems and documenting it, go check out this podcast episode. I break down everything you need to know about systems. So take this next 6 months to build that out. You're building out your employee handbook, okay? Quick interruption to the show. Before you skip though, hear me out. If you're an esthetician or a student and you want real waxing education without dropping thousands of dollars, this is for you. I created a completely free online hard waxing course that teaches you everything you need to know to confidently start taking clients. And the best part is you can work through at your own pace, because reality is most estheticians build bad habits through figuring things out on their own, or they jump straight into a hands-on course without first building their foundation, leaving them just as confused and now out hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars. This training includes all your hard waxing 101, common mistakes, proper technique, full demos from brows to toes, everything in between, including multiple Brazilian demos and even men's non-intimate waxing as well, plus full supplies checklist and even some business guidance. This is for licensed estheticians and students, and yes, it's completely free. Here's how to enroll. Go to training.lashandwaxoc.com/101 or click the link in the show notes below. Tap I want access, enter your first name, last name, and email. You will get an email instantly with your login link, or you can click create your account now on the confirmation page. Use the same email you signed up with and set your password. Make sure you save it so you can log in at any time and bookmark the course page. You'll get immediate access, and you'll even have the opportunity to download a certificate of completion. It takes less than a minute to get enrolled and will change the way you wax. Now back to the show. And then ask yourself, do you actually enjoy teaching? And are you ready? And I don't think anyone actually truly knows they're ready until you get into it, but to be managing people, it's difficult. It's not easy. You have to manage people's emotions. They're, teaching them. And then if your waxers aren't following protocol, like what do you do? It's not easy. So you need to make sure you're ready for that. And I would start studying up on that a little bit too. There's books to read on leadership or podcasts. I would start getting yourself prepared for that as well. So signs that you're not ready is you're already completely burnt the heck out. You're not going, this is the same thing as when we go solo originally. We all say, well, I want to go solo for time and financial freedom. And now you guys are probably at a point you can kind of giggle at that a little bit, because when you go solo, you go from working 9 to 5 to 24/7, 365. Like the time and financial freedom is laughable until it can be achieved. But at the beginning, that's not the reality. Same thing when you're hiring an employee. You think you're going to be freeing up so much time. And I'm talking about a waxer specifically, not admin, not an assistant, because they should free up time for you. But for another waxer, you're not going to be saving a lot of time or stress or headache at first. At first, it's going to be more work. And yes, you can get to that level. My studio's pretty self-functioning. I'm not in there every day taking clients. So yes, I do have some freedom in that. So if you think an employee is magically going to be solving the problems you currently have, I guarantee you they are not. And on top of that, depending on what the hire is, I'm talking specifically a commission waxer. And beyond that, it's going to amplify anything that's broken in the business. Yeah, it's going to amplify it, actually. It's going to increase that problem. So we got to solve it before we bring someone else in. So the biggest mistake I see people make is that they hire because they just really need the help, but they didn't build the business first and then hire to expand that. So you're hiring and bringing someone else into chaos. Unless they're specifically because I keep thinking product-based for me, and I did hire people to come because of chaos, but I was very specific with that up front of like, you're coming into a little bit chaotic. I need your help. Like part of their job description was to build out systems and to solve specific problems. A waxer, though, their job is not going to be to come into your waxing business and solve any problems. Their job is to come in, clock in, give the clients a great client experience, help manage some of the things like my girls help with making sure inventory and all of that. And then they get to go home. So they don't own the business, okay? So don't feel like they're supposed to come in and fix anything. Okay, so you asked, okay, let's go first to finding your first employee. So honestly, it's all about making sure you have a really great job description. So you need to talk through. I just use chat. I love it. It's so easy. I make a job description based on exactly what I actually need them to do and what I expect from them, not just a generic job description. So that's something I've really had to nail down. So I talked to chat and just brain dumped everything that I want them to be doing on a daily basis and expectations and what our core values are. So our core values of personal excellence, extreme ownership, servant leadership, growth-minded, and integrity. I have it written on my mirror over here, so I'm like peeking to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I put that in there and just expectations. And honestly, in the job description, I'm mapping out very black and white, like what the job is, but then also, try and scare them away from it a little bit of like, I have high expectations and high standards. I'm just very clear on expectations in your job description, and your job posting is really important. So then where do you post this? Indeed. Put it on Indeed. I get so many applicants when I post on Indeed. I don't even pay for it to be pushed out or anything. I just do the regular free posting, and I've gotten so many applicants from that alone. Then, of course, posting that on social media. You can even go to local aesthetic schools, but you have to ask yourself, so my first hire, I was willing and able to put more time into training. Then with my second most recent hire, it was at the beginning of summertime. I needed them to just plug and play. Like I taught them our systems and all of that, but I needed them to already know how to wax. So I was actually looking specifically for someone with a European Wax Center background, but was like just sick of the culture there and wanted something new and wanted a company that would treat and pay them well. So that's exactly what I found. And I put that all in the job description. You can go to local aesthetic school if you are willing to do trainings. Ask your clients. I send out an email blast to our whole client list and ask if they know anybody. Who better to ask than your clients? You can ask if you have a team already. You can ask them. This is your first hire, so you probably don't have a team. But ask around other estheticians too. Like actually one of my old coaching clients recommended our current waxer or our newest wax hire because she knew her, like they used to work together. So that was really cool. So ask other estheticians as well. But Indeed is really like the biggest source. And then also another thing to think about is Facebook. A lot of times there's local Facebook groups for job post or jobs specifically. Like I think ours is Bend, Oregon jobs. So you can post in there, and then sometimes people are in there looking for employment too. It's kind of rare to find like specifically an esthetician or waxer posted in there, but you can go in the group and just search waxer or esthetician or wax specialist, see if anyone posted looking for a job, but you can post your job in there as well. Okay, your next question was, how do we structure pay? So this is something I actually reached out to another studio owner and talked to my business coach about before structuring this. So I just took their advice, and this is what we do. So minimum wage or 30% service commission, whichever is higher per pay period. So the reason I did it like that is if my newest waxer, she was brand new and we had her in the studio, I believe it's like 25 or 30 hours a week to start. Maybe even 20 to 25 to start. So she would clock in, and if she didn't have any clients, then she was at least getting paid hourly. Got to a point and fairly quickly of where she was taking enough clients to where her service commission of 30% way outweighed the hourly that she would be paid. So then she got switched over to service. But I do it per pay period, because if there's ever a time when we're a little bit slower for some reason, I want to make sure she's still getting paid. But I can't remember the last time either one of them have been paid their hourly. My newest waxer was actually paid hourly, only her first check. And then from there, she was switched over to, or she's been consistently hitting higher on service commissions than anything else. So that was 30% service commissions. We also do retail. So it's 10% retail commission. They get that regardless. So if their hourly is higher than the commissions, then they get their hourly plus the retail commission. If their service commission is higher, then they get their service commission plus the retail commission. Now, in the future, I think I would like to have a tiered system. I think I started way too high with the 30% right off the bat. I would like to be able to work people up to that, and maybe even a little beyond as well, depending on what it is they're doing within the studio. So I would like to start from maybe 20, 25 and work up to as high as 40% for someone who is really senior and they're taking a lot off my plate. They're not showing up hungover. They're not showing up. They're not freaking just, if they relieve stress and they can really help run the studio and become almost like a lead waxer or manager of the studio and can help me manage the other waxers, I would love to be able to pay higher commission. So that's kind of what I'm looking at going forward. So you may want to ask yourself, is that what you want to do from the very beginning? Because it's kind of hard to backtrack. So I'm not backtracking on anyone. They're getting their 30%. But any new hires, I may start them off a little lower and give them a very clear roadmap on how they can earn those higher commission tiers. Then they get their cash tips. They just take that home on a daily basis. I don't track them. They can get Venmo'd their tips. I don't really care. Their tips is their business. Any credit card tips, though, I do take the hit on the service charge, which kind of like is a little punch to the gut every month or every couple weeks when I run payroll, but it's worth it. I want them to be paid well. And I use Gloss Genius, and they only charge a flat rate 2.6%. Super fair in comparison to the other charges I'm seeing where it's like 5 cents per transaction plus this percentage and all these hidden fees. Like Gloss Genius is the shiz when it comes to that, and all of it really. I freaking love Gloss Genius. I take the hit on that. Okay, so we got retail sales or commission, service commission. We talked about hourly, gratuity. Oh, packages. So we sell packages as well. So I will calculate that out. Super easy through Gloss Genius. So they get paid their 30% on any packages that are redeemed. All right. So that's how we structure the pay. So we answered structured pay. So how I landed on those, I reached out to others before, have done it before me. So that's me now sharing that with you. I shared how I found my first employee. So it was through Indeed. And then what I did was I had my assistant do a screening first. So you will be doing your own screening. So one of the things we put in our Indeed posting was at the bottom. It said, in order to apply, email support@lashandwaxoc.com. I am the rebel waxer you're looking for, in all caps as the subject line. Now, if anyone applied and they didn't do that, it's an automatic no, because I need someone who pays attention to detail and is thorough. And that's the first that's the first indicator to me if they're able to follow direction. So if they didn't do that, I don't even look any further. I don't read I don't look at it. Okay. So that was a big way to kind of filter people out. Then I had a list of questions for my assistant to ask them. So either you can do this through email or jump on a quick Zoom call. I wouldn't do in person yet. Just do a Zoom call, because if they're just like, you'll know. If it's just like a straight no, you don't want to wait. I've done that before where I had people come in for an interview. I'm like, oh my God, I already know it's a no. And now I'm wasting like 20, 30 minutes when I have so much other stuff I need to get done. So I like to have those like kind of filtering calls first, and then from there have them come in for an in-person interview. You're going to be asking more questions that relate to culture. So like my 5 core values, like asking questions around those to see, do they have those same core values? Asking about more, that's going to tell you more about their character and their work ethic than necessarily and ask all the basics too of like, hey, tell me about your background with waxing, da, da, da. For me, it was really important too. One of the things I said was, what do you know about the brand already? And have you taken my 6-week course? And the girl that I ended up hiring as my first waxer, she took the initiative to take my full 6-week course because she had 0 waxing background, and she's so consistent. That's something. Is she the best waxer in the world? No, but she's also only a year in, and she took the course before even getting hired. She's applied herself so well. She's so consistent. She's never created any sort of issues for me at all. Like, she's never called out sick which is fine. You can call out sick. We get sick. But I'm just saying, like, she has been so awesome, and she wasn't the strongest waxer. She actually didn't have any waxing background. So I just think that it's more important to hire for character than it is necessarily skill set, especially if you're really confident in your ability to be able to train. So that's how I found my first employee. She emailed us I am the Rebel Waxer you're looking for. She had an interview with my assistant. There was like 3 girls that my assistant was like, oh, I think Bree will like them. I rewatched the interview because I had my assistant record it, then set up the in-person interview. There was 3. One girl I offered the job, she ghosted. I kind of feel like she was snooping from another local studio because I found weird connections later, which is fine. I don't care. Why snoop? Why do that? I put it all out here. Like, listen to my podcast. Make sure you subscribe though, please. Okay, so there was that girl. And then there was another. Oh, I forgot about this. I made a huge mistake. I hired 2 waxers at once instead of just the one. And we were not busy enough for that. So I ended up having to let one go during training week. And it was not her fault at all. First of all, I knew she wasn't going to be the best fit, like, once we got more into it. But like, I couldn't get both of them busy. Like, this was my first time navigating, okay, now I'm not booking for myself. Now I'm booking for someone else and trying to build that trust for someone else, like for clients to come and trust another waxer. Big mistake, hire one at a time. I don't know what I was thinking. So now we're like a year and a half in, and I finally have my second waxer in there. But then had her come in-person interview, really liked her. She was super sweet. And then I did a hands-on, like in-person, had her perform some services. And yes, I had to do some coaching through that. And I watched, okay, is she coachable? She was very coachable. She was a fast learner too. So if I said, don't hold your stick like this, hold it like this. Like, she held her stick like that. But also remember, she took my free 6-week course. So she already she understood a lot of what I was saying because she's heard it before. So I love that she took that initiative. So that's how I found my first employee. What made people want to work for me? It's my brand. That's why I'm so big on personal branding. I've been showing up online for so long now. I feel like so many people tell me you're exactly who you are online. When I meet you in person, like, what you see is what you get. So because of putting out so much of myself online, people feel like they already kind of know me in essence. I paint a great picture of where we currently are. So there's realistic expectations, but where I'd like to go and asking people, hey, do you want to build this with me alongside me? Like I'm very truthful in the interviews too, of you're stepping into something very new. This is a startup. A startup is a whole different ball game than a corporate waxing center. There's systems that are going to break. We're going to be in this together, but I promise you, I'm going to give my full max effort to see you succeed, make this business succeed. But you are stepping into a startup, and it can be chaotic and it can be crazy. Are you game? Are you ready? So like, I'm very transparent with people, and I think that they trust me, and I think they trust because I'm willing to tell you the hard things too, and the not so pretty parts of working for us. It is going to be different than working at a European wax center. So that is how I've made people want to work with me, is that you see what you get, and I'm very invested in helping to grow people, and I want to see people succeed, and I think people feel that. And then how to keep the business profitable while paying employees. That's what your pay structure is really, really important, and knowing your numbers. You need to know your numbers. So if you don't already have your QuickBooks set up and your finances set up, where you have an end of the month report, you know how much is going towards utilities and your lease, and how much is going towards product, and how much product you use per month, and you're not tracking all of that stuff, then it's not time to hire. You got to build out those systems first. I know exactly how much wax we use on a monthly basis, how many sticks, how many boxes of gloves. I know all those numbers, okay? So I'm able to look at our business and see the profits. You need to be able to do that too, so that you do stay profitable, okay? But it's really your pay structure, and then teaching your employees. I've had to have this talk many times of not overusing product. One of my waxers came in with a really bad habit of throwing away a bunch of unused sticks. It's like, okay, I can't afford that as a small business for you to be throwing away sticks. So let's not grab so many out. Lay them across the SMA so you're not touching any of the unused ones. Like, there's things that we can do to help mitigate over usage of product, which has been the biggest thing for us. That is it, you guys. Some rapid fire questions. Our camera did overheat. It's really freaking hot in my studio right now, but I want to try to get these out. So I'm going to go really fast. Should you hire a friend? Only if you would hire them for this position, regardless of them being a friend. I've been down this road so many times with hiring friends and family. I have my sister-in-law. She does great because she is someone I would hire for that role, regardless of being family. Other ones that I've hired for the warehouse, specifically being family, I otherwise probably wouldn't have, and it did not end well at all. So you need to ask yourself that question. Should you do employee or booth rental? I'm a big fan of commission employee. That's going to be up to you. Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to manage people? Do you want to be solely responsible, or do you want to just collect rent on a monthly basis, which comes with its own headaches too? That's going to be up to you. Full-time or part-time? I would probably start off with part-time and work them into full-time, but totally up to you. But I would say part-time to start. That's what we do. New graduate or experienced waxer, up to you. Do you have time to train? Are you confident in your training abilities? Sometimes it's nice to get someone brand new because then they're really learning your ways. But then for me, like I explained, my first hire, that's what I did. But my second hire, I didn't have the time. I knew I didn't have the time to give to them. I needed them to just get in there. So then I hired experience. So going to be completely up to you on that one, and be very self-aware and honest with yourself. Are you a good educator? Utilize my free 6-week course. Make them take that before they get into their training week. How long should training take? They need to be able to start taking clients on their own within the first month, really. You guys should be going through 2 weeks of learning all the systems when it comes to the booking and how to clients and retail and the prices of everything, and just learning your business. And then you really need a week or two of solid hands-on taking models, and then maybe a week of taking clients at a discounted price with you overseeing. And then from there, they really should be able to be on their own. This should not be 6, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and you're still having to be right over them. If they're just not getting it, then they're not getting it. They need to be able to take clients. After, I would say, if anyone took over a month, then they probably wouldn't be the best fit for my studio. When should they build their own clientele? That's my answer. After a month, they're not going to be necessary. Yes, They should be helping to bring in new clients, but that's not their responsibility. That is yours. You are the owner. You are the marketer. You need to be bringing in the clients for them. Their job is then to retain and take really great care of the clients once they come in. And yes, again, they can help, but that should not be solely their responsibility. And I see way too many owners do that, and it's not fair. It's your job, not theirs. All right. So if you're thinking about hiring, don't ask yourself, can I afford an employee, because they really should be helping to bring in more revenue. We've doubled our revenue since bringing in my second employee. You need to be asking, have I built a business that's ready for an employee? Do I have the systems? Hiring an employee does not build great systems or fix weak systems. It actually exposes them and it will amplify them, okay? So the stronger foundation you build now, the better and easier hiring process you're going to have. Thank you so much, Megan, for asking me this question and reaching out. You guys never hesitate to reach out. This is so helpful for me. Like, I want to help you guys. So if you guys have questions, I want to make sure I'm answering it. I'm diving into it. So thank you, Megan, for reaching out and asking this. You guys, if you have anything, reach out to me on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to connect. I'll make sure my Instagram is below. Comment here too on YouTube. I read all the comments. And if you want even more in depth on hiring your first commission waxer, go ahead and head to this podcast episode here. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you'll go to episode 102. I'll see you guys over there.